Hey guys, it's Brian and Carrie here.
Hello.
Hello, hello. This is our third episode. And if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more content, please let us know. You can please subscribe, and just watch through. And yeah, we want to hear from you. So, this one, babe, well, first of all, before I talk about this episode, how are you doing? How's your summer been?
Summer's been great. Man, it has flown by like all summers. They always do. But it's been really good.
Mhm.
It's been hot. I'm kind of ready for the fall, honestly.
I know. It's been hot and smoky here.
Yeah.
So, out of like say summer 1 to 10, what are you going to rate it?
7.5.
Okay.
7.5, yeah.
Okay. I don't even know how that is, but to me that sounds good.
Yeah, it was a good summer.
I was going to say 10 out of 10. I'm really
Wow.
happy about how the summer went. I think we had it was busy, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we just enjoyed our family, and we had great things going on here at the church. And now I'm ready to kind of settle in and start getting our pumpkin candles out, our pumpkin drinks,
Our
right?
pumpkins. We have some we realized we have pumpkins growing in our backyard. So I'm
They
excited about that. That's gonna be cool.
I know they
We have
sprouted
like
up.
6 big ones. So
I mean, one I'm going to enter in the fair, I'm pretty
are
sure.
you really?
I think I am.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put that on my front porch. So
Well, I heard if you enter something in the fair, our daughter did this years ago, you get a free fair ticket. I don't know if
for
that's still
sure,
true, but I'm going to
absolutely,
try.
yeah, you get a free fair ticket,
I'm going to
and
try.
that's a good thing because those are expensive. So
Pumpkins are expensive. Yeah. So,
no, fair tickets are expensive. So
oh, fair tickets are expensive. Yes. Yeah, so it was a good summer. We just celebrated Labor Day. We have super great stuff that we're looking forward to in the fall. So I'm
yep,
actually like very excited to transition into fall.
yeah,
So much fun stuff going on. Good friends they're going to be here even this weekend. You guys have retreat, and we're going to
yeah.
have friends here with us. Maybe we can get
It's
them in
gonna be
this
an
room.
awesome weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, so um we've cried enough, I think, for a minute.
Yeah, for the last two times that we've done this, it feels like we have. I'm like, okay, we need to lighten the mood and just let's do something fun. And
Yeah,
so we started talking about doing something fun. We want to make this fun today, and so I hope you enjoy it.
I know. So this episode is for anyone who just I hope it's brings joy to you, because these things have brought joy to us. Um, but I believe even for people who are in ministry or your pastors, oh my goodness, you guys all we have great stories, right?
Yeah.
And we always say we used to be really intense in ministry, didn't we?
Yep.
We were intense for a minute, and like if a service didn't go just as planned,
Yeah.
and we would get so intense. And remember, we talked about ride the wave.
Yep.
We talked about that first episode, and we started riding the wave. And we take God very seriously. We take his presence very seriously, but all the things that happen in ministry or that will happen on a Sunday, maybe that doesn't go according to plan or crazy stuff,
Yep.
we have to find joy in those things, right? We had a friend ask us like a few years ago, they were like, "How have you guys endured in ministry?" So we've been in ministry, we said, for
Like
30
30
years.
years. Yeah.
And like, how have you endured with joy?
Yeah.
And we were like, honestly, because joy, we have found joy in,
Yeah.
we just try not to get caught up to, like, some people take it so seriously, the like I said, those moments
Hmm.
that they really miss those joyful moments. And then they kind of, I think, feel like you can burn out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you really do have to enjoy it and just laugh, you know. You got to
Mhm.
laugh at yourself. You got to laugh at, and that's something I think that we've become a lot better at, just laughing at ourselves and having fun and just enjoying the moment, you know,
Mhm.
and laughing at the crazy stuff because there's a lot of crazy stuff. We'll talk about a bunch of that today. So
Mhm. Yeah.
super excited about that.
I know, me too. Okay, so we have been talking about, like, there's so many more stories. My parents, they had an inner city ministry, and just crazy stories all the time. So maybe one day we'll get them in here, but they have really crazy stories. But just the few that we could think of with like the time that we have. So I'm just going to prompt like a few things that we talked about and share some of those crazy things. And so, like we said, we hope this is funny. Okay, so I'll share. We have so many youth pastor stories. We're not even going to share Like,
We were youth pastors for like 13 years, so
and
long
youth,
time.
that is like the craziest ministry to be a part of. Like, youth do the craziest things. We're only going to share a couple of two or three youth pastor stories. But literally, someone like, if you have a youth pastor in your life, just go ask them, like, what's the craziest thing that will happen to you in ministry? And they will have really good stories. Okay, so one of my most memorable youth pastor stories. So, do you guys remember lock ins? I
Yeah.
don't, does anyone do lock ins anymore?
No, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
even think insurance would approve of a lock-in anymore. I don't
They
think.
don't know nothing about lock-ins no
So
more.
a
So
lock-in is when you would literally get all the youth together and you would lock the doors and you would stay up all night doing activities with the youth. You would have a service, you would have like events all night, you would eat all night, and it was miserable for the youth pastors
yeah,
and youth leaders.
miserable.
I mean, we have really, okay, we have great memories, but
Yeah,
those nights were because you couldn't sleep because the minute you would fall asleep, youth would be making out. Let's be real.
yeah.
Or doing something crazy.
Praying in tongues and
Oh
all kinds of crazy, you know.
no. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, they would. Um, so you had to be watching them like a hawk. So here's the problem. I can stay up all night, but you cannot stay up all night.
Yeah.
So lock-ins for me were really hard. For whatever reason, I would also bring Mariah. I would bring Alexis too. I think the last lock-in that we were a part of, I don't know how many years ago.
I don't even know, but
Okay.
it was a long time ago.
So everyone used to do this. So one of my most memorable lock-in stories. So we had this big, like we said, we had a lot of inner city outreaches and just the best times, right? And so we decided we're going to announce to everybody we're having a lock-in, and you would get $100 for bringing the most friends. Not thinking that through, we thought, I mean, of course, because we did have a service
Hmm.
and it was a really good service. We didn't think the rest through. So we had the lock-in, lock the doors, no one can leave. At this point, we realized we have two of the biggest rival gangs in Yakima there who are like youth age.
Yeah.
We're cool with them, right? We had no problems with them. So we're going through the night. Heather Kurtzinger was with us. She was, a youth leader. All of our other youth leaders, most of them were all youth. So they're running around like literal chickens with their heads cut off. Everyone has lost all sanity, right? You and the other boy leaders fall asleep.
Yeah.
So the other guy
On the
leaders,
pews.
they're out at like 11 o'clock. They're out.
No, it was like 1 in the morning. So
Well, I don't know, but it was early to me.
yeah.
So Heather and I are like, okay, we've got this. And Mariah was right there with us. And she was like, so, like two, we've got this. So we are keeping them up. And all of a sudden something shifts in the night. And they're like, we want to play Bones, which is dominoes. So they start playing Bones. And next thing we know, they are all getting their bandanas on. So Heather and I are watching them as they're literally pulling out their bandanas and they're tying up and they're playing like for real Bones in the middle of the night. And then they started getting it started getting aggressive. And I was like, did we even check for guns? It was so crazy. You guys,
This was at a church where we literally had to check for guns before we would let them come into church on Sunday morning.
yeah,
They would
this
have
was
to go put their guns in the car before they would come to church. So
right.
it's the hood, man, straight up.
But it was so cool. Like so many of them just got we helped them get their diplomas and they got like super good jobs, got out of the gang. But that one we didn't know like half the kids. That was scary. Okay, so that was a that was a crazy memory. Um, Tell us about when we were youth pastors on the west side, when we went to the Generation Church conference.
Yep.
What happened?
Yeah. So we had we went to, this is a youth conference that we went to like every year, and we would love to go to it and take young people and stuff. So we're all walking out afterwards out to the van, church van, white church vans. Everybody has white church vans. So
The whole parking lot's full of white church vans.
absolutely, we're walking out and all the kids, get in this van, and we all get in the van, and the kids started, eating snacks and stuff. And so I'm, getting the key out and I'm trying to literally start this van and it's not turning over, key's not turning it or anything. And I'm like, what is the deal? Something's wrong. Somebody call like a Valley Lock and Key person. And so I realized, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then there's another big youth group coming out after us. They're coming out. They come to the van that we're sitting in. and they say, "Hey, you're in our van." And I'm like, "No,
They're
this is
looking in the
this is
window.
our van." They were like, "No, you're in our van." And our youth ministry was already devouring their snacks and their candy and everything. And so I'm like, he says, "I think that one is your van right next to it." And wouldn't you know, so I get the key out, go to the van next to us, and I started up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So we laughed and laughed and laughed. I laughed literally from Federal Way, from like Kirkland all the way to Federal Way. It
The
was
youth,
crazy.
and everything when you're a youth is like mortifying. Everything's so embarrassing. And those youth were like, they said that they all had to do the walk of shame. They were so embarrassed and walked past. They just felt like just the
Yeah.
biggest losers, they
That
said.
was one of the funniest memories ever in youth ministry.
And that other youth ministry got in and they were like, what is up? Like all of our snacks are gone.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was so
All of
funny.
their stuff was gone.
I feel
That
like
was funny.
I feel like things like that have always happened to us too. Just like the
Yeah.
craziest. I say like God wants to keep us all humble
Yeah.
because you just have to be humble when things like that happen all the time.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a story. We were youth pastors. My parents they went out of town. So when my parents went out of town, we were in charge. It probably shouldn't have been. I don't know. But I was pregnant. Okay, mind you, we were youth pastors. I was like 20. You were 22.
Yeah.
So we weren't even a lot older than these kids. I am pregnant with Mariah at this point. We get the call. Okay, my parents are gone. We get a call in the night. Hey, we're looking for pastors Dan and Judy, and we're like, they're out of town. So they were like, you've got to come immediately. One of the saints, one of our young men, they were like, he's getting arrested, and someone's got to come down from the church. So in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
I think we were still in our pajamas. We show up. The cops, there's tons of cops down on Natchez Avenue.
Yeah.
Now, this guy, he'd been a part of our life for so many years. We loved him so much, but he had a struggle, right? He struggled a lot with his sobriety.
Yeah.
And so we went down there. All the cops are surrounding him. At this point, they have him in the back of the cop car. He's handcuffed, and he is busting out the windows of the cop car.
Yeah. This guy's like 6'5", 330 pounds. Huge. He's huge. But
Massive.
actually, before he was put into the cop car, he literally busted the mailbox
Oh, yeah.
off with his fist by punching it. And
He was having a rough night.
yeah,
Punched the mailbox. His landlord called. That's when they called the police, and then they called us and said, you better get down here.
like
So
what are we going to be able to do with
what
this
are we
guy
going to
that was
do?
drunk and high on probably crack?
Yeah,
It was
definitely.
that was crazy.
So
That was scary.
the cops okay, you bust out the window, they pepper spray him. They're calling for backup. So at this point, there's a lot of cops there. They're calling for backup. We show up, and this guy's out of his mind. We show up on the scene in our pajamas, big and pregnant, and we walk right over and we're like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? This guy who was absolutely out of his mind, 6'5", no cop in Yakima could,
Not even
detain
close.
him,
Yeah.
suddenly turns into this docile little puppy, crying his eyes out. And he's like, I am so sorry. And we were like, you get in the car and you behave yourself right now. Gets right in the car. They take him away, and they were like, wait, what just happened? The police did not know. And we were like, okay, when you love people unconditionally,
So true.
usually
So
you
true.
are the first call. We've been a lot of first calls.
Yes. Lots.
Okay, I'm going to go off script a little bit and share this call. We had a guy in our church. He was coming out of the gang. I mean, he was hardcore in the gang. He was a young guy. And Brian told him, hey, if you ever need anything at any hour, call me. So he called Brian in the middle of the night. I wake up, and Brian is talking. Mind you, Brian's had only been on a horse one time in his life. Do you remember this conversation?
Keep going, and it'll click.
You are talking, I'll say, to Vicky's brother. I'll say that. All of a sudden, I hear him on the phone, and he's relating this guy coming out of the gang and off of drugs as riding a horse, as if he was a cowboy.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, all you got to do you remember this?
I do a little bit. Yes.
All you got to do, it's like you're getting on the horse, like you're scared to ride the horse. The horse takes off, like it's a whole entire and I'm like,
To an inner city gang member.
to an inner city gang member who's hardcore coming out of the gang, actually in hiding at this point. And not only that, you didn't know anything about riding a horse.
No,
They're like, hold on to the reins. You gotta like, and I'm like, is he talking about riding a horse? I am laughing so hard. And then he tells the guy, I want you to go get some oil right now. Mind you, he's asleep. I want you to go get oil right now and I want you to anoint your house. His mom the next morning said she got up and there was oil all over their entire house. He wasn't even clear. He was saying anoint your home because like
yeah,
he
yeah,
said, demons were attacking this guy.
yes, it's
So
true.
she said all over the walls. They couldn't even like get it up. I don't think they could paint over anything.
It's bad.
He ruined all
It's
the paint
bad.
in their house
Yes,
with
I remember
dumping.
that now.
Had dumped Crisco all over their
Yes.
house. That was so funny. Okay. So when we moved back from Seattle, we were in a church that it didn't have access to like handicap and it just like we outgrew it really quickly. So we moved the church into a youth center that we had just purchased.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy story. We just purchased this. This was an old warehouse. It used to be an old
Post office.
post office
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
This thing was rough. So we started just painting it. We're adding little like bathrooms in it. We're adding like pony walls.
Trying to make it all pretty. I mean, we did well with that building.
We did a good job.
For real.
We would go to the paint store and say, what do you have left? And they would show us and we would say, can you add green to this or anything to try to make it cute? So it was beautiful. We had great
Yeah.
times in that building, but it was rough. Okay, so tell us about what happened. Tell us the
Yeah.
toilet
So
story.
what's crazy about that building was we didn't have a lot of money, but literally we had a lot of faith. And so we were like, hey, we've got to make 2 bathrooms right here. So, we're doing everything that you can do to turn something into, nothing into something
Literally.
and making bathrooms. And so we got the sheetrock done. Bathrooms are done. We're like, this is done. We're going to launch this church. And about probably a week and a half, 2 weeks into like our first service, the women kept coming out and they were like, hey, the toilet water is hot.
Scalding hot.
It's hot. And I was like, there's no way it's hot, And I'm like, there's no way it's hot, We didn't hire any professional plumbers. And sure enough, we had realized that the toilets were plumbed with hot water. And the women only on the women's side,
Only
and they
on
would
the
always
women's
want to argue, and I'm like, "There's no way, there's no way," and so that was a funny time, man.
So not only was it super humid in the women's bathroom, but Lord forbid if you had a double flush. This is what was happening. Women were double flushing and they were getting burned. That's what was
For
happening.
real.
They were getting, but they didn't want to tell you that. But they were like coming to us and like, hey, this is scalding hot water. And we were like, oh my gosh. Literally everything in that building, I feel like there's so many stories. Okay, tell us about, okay, we had a baptism area. So in the back, we also had a feeding program.
Yep.
We would feed people. So our back room was a pantry for the feeding program, but we also put a horse trough in the back room for baptisms,
Yep.
which that whole back area had mice
Yes.
because we were in like an alleyway. It was an old building. It was really hard to keep the mice away.
Yeah.
What happened on the Sunday that we were trying, this was a big week too. I think it was Easter. It was a big service that we were really trying to impress people
Yeah.
with this big
For
service.
sure. Yeah, we were. This was kind of like during the whole church growth season where pastors were like, "Hey, if you do this, 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 and this, then your church is going to grow." And we were really into that. We're like, "We're going to do this," and so
We're
we
not.
were doing that, and so we were prepping for it, and we're ready. Church is starting, and a lady came out of the bathroom. And she's dressed well and everything, and then she looks behind her and there's a mouse coming down the same hallway
Chasing her.
right behind her, chasing her, and she takes off running. This is Sunday morning. Church is like 5 minutes before it's going to start. She takes off running and she's like, "A mouse, a mouse, a mouse." We're like, no,
there's
it's
no
not a
mice.
mouse.
It's not a mouse.
There's not a mouse. We're like, no, do not tell people there's a mouse. We're like, doing everything that we could to, have this perfect church service
Oh
and
my gosh.
really impress people and stuff. And the mouse ruined it for us. And anyway, it was hilarious. We still talk about that and think about that.
It chased her
you know.
all the way like up the aisle and she's screaming and we were just trying to get her to be quiet.
Yep.
And I don't even remember what
I
happened,
don't
but
even know if she came back to
no,
church, you know.
no, she did. The funny thing was, so we decided we would put a camera because people couldn't be back there to see the baptisms. All they knew was like baptisms were going on during service. No one knew what was going on. So we were like, let's put a camera. It was a very low quality camera. It was probably an alarm system camera that we
Yes.
like somehow hooked in
Yes.
so people could see like kind of a grainy picture of someone being baptized with like cream corn and green beans behind them. Remember?
It was
And then
a
someone got changed, started dressing back there for baptisms. And somehow someone stopped them and they were like, no, no, there's a camera.
because the camera was operated via remote. So I
Yes.
remember that. And that was, man.
And they were like, turn it off. And quickly they turned it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
But at
That's
our
so
church that we were at in Federal Way, they had
actually
the
a
same
camera
type.
in the baptism room.
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone was fully naked. I'll just say
Yeah.
that. I don't know if there's certain
That's
words that you can
bad.
say.
That's really bad
They
right
had
there.
no clothes
That's bad.
on and the whole congregation sitting there and everyone just like screams. And they said, it seemed like it took forever. And finally, the person didn't even care.
Yeah.
It
No,
was like an
it
old
didn't.
hippie guy and he just
The
did not
pastor's
care.
like, cut it, cut it, cut it, you know. And this is, I think, before live stream and everything.
Oh,
But
yeah, for sure.
anyway, it's hilarious. So everybody in the congregation sees this, dude getting baptized,
And people are just
getting
covering
dressed.
their kids' eyes. Oh my gosh, so funny.
That's bad.
That's bad. Okay, another funny story that happened in that building. So it's Super Bowl Sunday. We always made a big deal about like let's dress, support your team. Like I don't know if people
Yeah,
hear that
wear your
much
favorite
anymore.
jersey and all that.
We
We would go all out.
There's a fly right there. We would go all out. I mean, balloons and everyone had their jerseys. And then we would say, go back, get a snack, and we're going to all watch the party together, right? Or the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out how to stream it. Mind you, this is the old warehouse. And so one of our guys, Eric, I will say his name.
Yeah.
Eric, we went through, I mean, he helped us in so many projects.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll go up. I'm going to string this line.
HDMI cable front to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the party people are getting their food. People are kind of trickling in. He's getting that. All of a sudden, out of the ceiling,
He's in the attic running
Yes.
this wire.
his legs fall through the ceiling,
Yeah,
kind of the ceiling that we put up, fall through, and his legs are dangling
totally.
through the
Like
ceiling.
14 feet in the air.
Yes, legs dangling in the ceiling. Okay, at the same exact time, you couldn't even plan this if you tried.
This was probably the craziest, I think.
A newer lady in the church walks mind you, like people aren't really there yet. She just happened to walk right as his feet come through. She walks directly underneath him,
Yep.
and all the
Like a 4 foot by 4 foot piece of sheetrock comes down on top of like 2 feet of insulation
insulation
on top of her head.
on top,
Literally.
literally on top of her head. And it's like, it is deep insulation. And all she does is she just happens to put her head down. And I think she's kind of squealing. And we're all like, who are there, like setting up, we're kind of like screaming because Eric's legs are dangling. And she's
So
like,
bad.
and we were quickly trying to get her away. But she thought it was like a surprise party for her. And she was being
thought she was
celebrated.
Celebrated. Yep.
In the back of her mind, that's all she could think of was she was being celebrated. It was a surprise party for her.
Oh my gosh.
I think she had to leave and go change because she had so much
Yeah.
insulation. Oh my gosh.
That one was funny. That was one of those things that, man, I literally, the timing was like perfect
Perfect.
on that. And she was one person that you definitely didn't want that to happen to, but
No, she was sweet.
yeah, she took it good. She laughed and it was crazy.
It's
insane.
like, they say in the videos that play rent free in your head. Oh, 100%. That's the one
Always.
that always plays rent free in my head is his legs coming through and her just going down and being so happy that she's being celebrated.
Perfect timing. That
Okay.
was wild.
Now in that building, we weren't in like the inner city, but we were. So it's down from Davis High School, our building. And we had terrible taggers. Like you would paint your building and the next day you would show up and your building was tagged. Like
Graffiti.
graffiti all over your building.
Yep.
So this happened. And remember, we got the paint, like half price paint that they special mixed for us. So every patch that we had to repair, which was every day, which looked like a different color
Yeah.
because
It
they
was
could
bad.
never get it right because we started with like used color.
Yeah.
So every day we would go down. It was part of ministry. Darius Pleasant, he was a big part of that. Every single day we would have to paint the church. What happened when we just finally just got so tired of it? It was a really
Yeah.
bad tagging session.
Yeah. It was bad. And so I worked graveyard at the time, and I was a corrections officer, worked a graveyard, and I was determined I'm going to catch these little thugs that are tagging our building.
You were going to shoot them with paint
I was
guns.
going to, yeah, I was going to shoot them with paintball guns. And
Paint
so
guns. Crazy.
that's really, really bad. But anyway, and so we determined, hey, this is how we're going to do it. The night before, we had went up onto the roof and we got our paintball, you know, guns and stuff.
And a bunch
Wouldn't
of
you
those
know?
were waiting on
Wouldn't
different
you know?
points with walkie-talkies
Yeah,
telling
absolutely.
them where they
We
were
were
at.
we were so ready. They didn't even show up that night. And so we're like, okay, we gotta think about what else we're gonna do. So um
We greased
we
the
said,
poles.
hey, okay, we're gonna love these people with kindness. We're gonna take and we're gonna put some snacks out on the roof on a table. We're gonna put some chips and some pop and some cookies and
Yeah,
all kinds of stuff. And we're just gonna bless these
with a
people.
letter.
We're gonna kill them with kindness and love them, and hopefully maybe they'll get saved by this.
Hmm.
And so we did all that, put it all out on the table. That next morning, I get off graveyard. I come, and the building is not tagged,
Hmm.
which was amazing.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna go up and I check up on the roof, and literally I see these ravens. They're flying around, and the ravens had devoured the cookies, the chips. The whole table is like totally knocked over. We that was so crazy. We were like, we're gonna bless these
Well,
kids and that are constantly tagging our building, costing us hundreds and hundreds of dollars in paint.
yeah,
And so the ravens were like having a heyday. Crows, they
they were
were
living their
they were
best
really
life.
pumped up that they
They
got free cookies.
they were living their best life, and it was just a mess up there. We wrote the nicest letter to them.
You
Just
did.
told them,
You did.
yes, like, listen, if you want to tag something, we'll have you like paint for us. Like you
Yeah.
are an artist. You are a true artist. That's what we told them because they actually were really good. But let's use it for something positive. But you know what's crazy? They stopped tagging our building.
They
So I'm
did.
thinking
Yeah.
they must have read
Yeah.
the letter.
That was an answer to prayer.
Okay, speaking of tagging, should we share this other story?
Go for it.
This is a wild story. Okay, so we when we moved into this building, which where we're at, we don't really get taggers out here,
Hmm.
people not a lot, crazy stuff happens. I mean, everywhere kind of. We live in a city where a lot of crazy stuff does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um so we had a guy, he came up and tagged our building, and he tagged it pretty bad. And so we were like so frustrated, we were like, man, that stinks. You show up and you see something like that happen and you're like, oh my gosh, that stinks.
And it was right. A new paint job
It
had
was
happened recently. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, and the little kids, when they saw it, they were really upset about it. And we were like, oh, that's a bummer. Well, we saw on the video cameras who tagged the building, but we didn't know who it was. We didn't recognize him. Well, anyway, do you guys see this fly? This fly needs salvation right
Kill it.
now.
Kill that. Kill
I
that fly in
rebuke you in Jesus' name.
I hate flies. Do you guys hate flies? I hate flies. I
Yeah.
don't even know what the purpose of a fly is.
Oh, I
They're
don't
bad.
know. We don't even need to figure that out right now. We could. That could be our next session to figure out the purpose of a fly. It's to torment. It's a tormenting
Yeah,
spirit.
exactly. Yeah.
And we don't have your little your
No, suck
vacuum to
that
suck
thing
them up.
up.
We used to use a salt gun, but that's too messy.
It's too messy.
Okay, so this guy tags our building. We see his picture. We don't recognize him. So a little while later, our youth pastors at that time, Clayton and Vicky, they found out that when they left their house, Clayton started feeling like, I feel like someone has been in our house. And I think Vicky was like, no, no way. And he's like, I think someone's been in our house. Well, one day he had to run and get his baby really quickly. And he came back, his iPad was out, his like a glass of water had just been spilled. He was like, what is going on? Well, they found out that a neighbor, a guy who lived around from them, would wait till they left and went to work. he would skip school or not go to school. I don't know what his situation was. He would go and eat their food. Like their cereal is like dwindling away.
In their house, sneak into their
Sneak in their
house.
house, spend all day in their house. He'd eat their cereal and play his video games, right? So Clayton finally figured it out. I don't even know how he figured it out. And I mean, people around here, we're in Eastern Washington and people have guns, right?
Yeah,
I mean, are
yeah.
people like, you can't do that,
You
especially
get
like
shot.
on our side of the mountains. So anyway, somehow they found out who it was. His father came over and was like, thank you for, not, I don't think they pressed
Yeah,
charges, but
not prosecuting my son.
yeah. So then they were like, listen, if it happens again, like we are gonna prosecute, but like they gave him grace. Well, this guy saw Clayton driving one day and remembered like that's the guy, the neighbor that I had been breaking into his home. Now, I don't know if he'd even been stealing. I don't know exactly. But Clayton one day when he saw him, he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, thank you, for not pressing charges or whatever. I'm just going through a hard time. And Clayton starts ministering to him. And Clayton goes, listen, I want you to come to church with me. And Clayton prays with him and was like, I want you to come to church. He goes, oh, okay, where do you go to church? And he says, Breakthrough. And the guy goes, Breakthrough Church, huh? Doesn't say much about it. So Clayton's like, yeah, come with me. I've got to be there early because I play the drums. So I want you to come early. He gets the guy in the car. They show up for church. This guy's sitting outside, kind of trying to avoid everyone, right? He's kind of like trying to be incognito because Clayton just picked him up. He brought him here. He had no choice because he was
Yeah.
in his car. When he pulls up, he realized, oh, crud, that's the church that I was tagging.
Yeah.
So he shows up. He has like disguise on, trying not to be seen. And someone immediately looks at him, one
Well,
of the
it was
kids.
me. I walk up to the
It was a
guy.
kid too. Yeah.
And I walk and yeah, one of the girls, but I
Yeah.
walk up to him and I noticed it was him. And then I said, "Hey, how you doing, man? And it's good to have you here." And of course, it was just small talk. And then I knew that it was him.
Brian pulls up, goes in the other room and pulls up the video and he goes, this is the tagger. Because
This
we
is
were
the
praying.
tiger
We were praying for this
that had been
guy.
breaking into their house, stealing their food, eating their food. Now he's in the church that he literally had been tagging for
Like
a couple different weeks.
he gets brought to our church out of all the churches in Yakima.
Yeah, yeah.
Our church.
You know what's wild about that story is that 2 weeks before he came, I had said, God's going to save this young guy.
You did.
And we prayed that God would save him.
Yeah.
The church, we prayed that God would save him.
Yep.
That same day, he was actually at the altar giving his heart to God.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't call him out and say, hey, you're the tagger. You know what you did. But
No, that was so cool.
that, God covered him.
God,
And we covered him.
God covered him. Yes, God. But he
That was
got
crazy.
saved, and the church was able to really even bless this kid,
Yeah.
and I think we even financially blessed him. But it's just so crazy. Like stuff like this happens. It literally happens all the time. Like
Yeah.
God miracles like that. We don't even have all the time in the day to talk about all the
Yeah.
God miracles, Okay.
So true.
Now we're going to talk about a subject that is near and dear to your heart, and that is dogs in church. Now listen, I hope you can appreciate some of these stories. If nothing else, you can say, our church is so normal. Maybe someone will say that today, like, wow, I thought I had crazy situations. Our church is so normal.
This is not your religious little,
No.
this is not your grandma's church.
Or maybe you can just laugh and just say, thank you. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can start just seeing crazy things that happen and be like, oh, okay, like I've got to laugh about this, or start praying for crazy things that happen.
Mhm.
Okay, so Brian is not a big dog lover. He just doesn't love he's just not. It's okay. You've already criticized my dog Tucker, my little baby. And I'm on the other end of things where I'm like, yes, let's bring our dogs to church and let's worship with our dog.
She wants to have like pet blessing services. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
That's everyone needs blessing.
There's a lot of people at our church that would love to have their dog anointed with oil.
We would be the most popular
Absolutely.
place in town above the
your dogs.
clubs and above the mall if we had a pet blessing. Okay. So people, it was a big thing a few years ago where everyone started having their pets as their their service animal or as like a emotional support.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem is like a few years ago, you didn't know really who just wanted to have their pet there.
Yeah.
And who it really was like we have someone in our church who actually it is their s- their support animal, and they have like legal papers.
Yeah.
But for a while, people were bringing in like, you guys, we had a lady who had brought her dogs in baby car seat, or baby stroller.
I'm thinking, this has got to be a baby.
She opens it up, the two cutest dogs you've ever seen, little poodles, that had one had like a little white dress and one had a tux. You've never seen anything so cute. They had sweet little names.
Tater and Top.
Sweet dogs, right? But Tater, so we were like, oh, I think these are just her dogs that she wants to
Yeah.
bring. So she said, no, they'll be good. Well, during service, they loved the worship so much that those dogs would just put their heads back and howl at the top of their lungs. This was during,
These were not worshiping dogs. These were dogs that had demons in them that were manifesting.
no, they were worshiping their
During
hearts.
worship, and the presence of God was strong.
Here's the problem.
That's what I believe.
There were a lot of people getting delivered also during that time. It was coming back from COVID, I think. So much deliverance was happening during that time that we really thought people were like manifesting in worship. But I looked over and saw that little dog with his head all the way back howling. And I was like, it says make a joyful noise. He was making a joyful noise. So Brian was like, listen, I'm so sorry, because then it started getting out of control.
Yeah.
Then everyone had a dog. And you wouldn't let me bring my dog, but everyone else had a dog. So we had to say no more dogs.
Absolutely, yeah.
But one lady, she came in the front and she had the cutest little dog, and she was next to me. Now listen, sometimes I keep the rules when we have rules, but sometimes I'm just like, I want to be like sweet mama, and I'm like, I'm letting this dog slide. This dog can stand right by me. I'm not going to say a word. Cutest little puppy. The mom in church, the mom of that puppy, held his little paws up to worship during worship. She held his paws up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is precious.
So this dog was worshiping Jesus?
But people couldn't all see what was happening. But I was like, she's worshiping Jesus with his little paw. Well, something happened. Now she had a beautiful white dress on. Something happened to his little intestines during service.
Ooh, that's bad.
And the dog got like, can I say diarrhea?
Go
The
ahead.
dog got diarrhea all over her in service. Now Brian would tell me that's why you
gross.
should have told her from the
Absolutely.
beginning. So it's all over her. Her white dress is brown. And mind you, our church, we're in the little church at that building. So there's no side exits. I mean, there was, but you'd have to go outside. You have to go all the way through the back of the church. She takes the dog, holds the dog out. The dog is pooping all the way up the aisle.
That's bad.
We had new guests who were like everyone was holding their noses. People were gagging. And someone had Glade behind her. It was a circus.
And there was not 5 people in this building. There was like probably 350 people.
Hundreds of people packed in that service.
Yeah.
So I don't think you had a good laugh about that.
No, I did not.
I had a really good laugh about that one.
We made some rules after that service.
No dogs. That's what. Okay.
Oh man.
So then now we're in the new building.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. And we had such crazy, amazing times in that old building too.
Yeah.
So now we're in the new building. And this was like a few months ago. And I am preaching. And I think, right, I was preaching that service. And we had, it was a beautiful altar service.
Yeah.
People really came up and just had such a reverence before the Lord, and everyone was really on there. I think you were doing the altar call.
No. You were preaching.
Was I doing the altar
You were
call?
doing the altar call.
Everyone on their knees before the Lord.
I'd called people forward, and it was a real powerful time. And
they were getting rocked.
Yeah, I remember, one person comes to the altar. They're, kneeling down. Totally kneeling down.
Yeah. Having
in a prayer position. And then her phone rings. She raises up at the altar, answers her phone, has a full-on conversation with the person on the other end for 45 seconds.
They're going to say 45 minutes.
No, 45 seconds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Breakthrough Church. Mm-hmm. This kind of stuff happens all the time.
She's like, yeah, what are you doing? So, I'm at Breakthrough Church right now. Later I'm going to be going to the store, like having a full.
For real. And I just laughed. I was like, you just have to laugh. This is so crazy, And then puts her phone back in her pocket and
Goes back.
right back to the prayer position.
I mean, I mean,
You gotta laugh.
you see those situations like you've been in a bathroom before when someone is full blown taking a call and you're like, wow, you are taking this call right now. It was one of those situations. And okay, this is what I say at Breakthrough Church. We always give a high five.
Yeah.
A high five is grace.
Yeah.
Grace, the number 5 in the Bible is grace. So I always tell people, now mind you, our ushers and security, they're on top of stuff, you know, so they're not letting things get too crazy. But we just look at those situations and we don't get upset about it, but we're like, listen, I'm going to give you a high five of grace right now. You've got 40 seconds to get off your phone. Like, no, but we also say we look for gold, right?
Yeah.
So we call up the golden people. People come to church, and why do people expect church people to be perfect?
They
That
do.
that needs to be a whole
They do,
nother
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
One thing that blows my mind is I go to Walmart. I don't expect one person to be perfect in Walmart. I expect people to be grocery shopping and people just to act like, because people in the world,
Yeah.
they're crazy sometimes. And you get some stuff where, you know, people are rough around the edges. I always say people have been beat up in life, right?
Yeah. So
And
true.
what they need, so they come to church. And why do people expect, they're like, oh, why did that just, you know, this person came to church. And I'm like, because we're all a work in progress. What do you say? There's no perfect person in church because
Yeah.
you just,
Because once you enter in, it's not perfect anymore
Mhm.
because we're all a mess.
we're all a mess. And then you see people like start, you know, you see God doing a work in them, but you call it the gold. So if you see, here's my little tip of the day. If you see something in someone and they are rough around the edges, maybe they're rude, they come in, you're trying to greet them. I've had this happen. You know, maybe I'm greeting someone and they just come blow past me and they're just like, don't want to talk. But then I'm like, okay, let's see the gold in them. There has to be something good in them because God created them. Just the world has messed them up. So we just call it the golden people and we just call it forth. Like I'm calling the good
Yeah.
forth. And you will see it's like layers of an onion. And before you know it, that's why we try not to get too like,
Yeah. So
like
true.
we always tell people, don't come here. And we don't want a cookie cutter church. We don't want everyone looking the same. We don't want everyone trying to act the same. You be you. And we're all a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
So you dress how you want. Like we have cowboys, we have ex-gang members, we have doctors, we have all kinds of people. You be however you need to be.
Yep.
But whatever you've gone through, we just believe that God's going to heal you and restore you and set you free. And then let's all let's all have some good laughs about, you know. Okay. One more thing. Do you want to? Actually, I don't think we can say this. I don't think we can actually say this, but we have some funny things happen when that our translators. I wish our translators could come and speak at the
We should
things
totally do
that
that.
you say because this is funny. So, I mean, we went to Davis High School, you know. A lot of our friends, they spoke Spanish, but they taught us Spanish that it was not good and we don't always know. So sometimes we'll say things and you guys listen, I'm telling you, tune in every week. If you have a church, we are not telling anyone, don't ever leave your church. Go support your pastors because your pastors have to deal with all this craziness. Go support your pastors. Like, my goodness, buy your pastor a coffee or something and tell them thank you for sticking in there. If your pastor's been here longer than 6 months, say thank you for sticking in here. But you just sometimes say the craziest things. And I always tell people tune in, especially second service when you're hungry. You say sometimes the funniest, craziest stuff. And now that we have translators, you say in Spanish and I'm like, you cannot say this. Like things that like you won't even know it's
Well,
bad.
what did I say?
I can't, it's like actually, it's not good.
Okay.
But you've told people instead of pulling your big panties up or your big boy pants up, you've said pull other things up. And you've said things that our translators then have to, whenever a translator is speaking in Spanish and you say it in Spanish, they will say in English. And so our translators sometimes are blushing. They're just like mortified and they'll come out of the room and I just give them a big old hug. And I'm like, I am so sorry you had to interpret.
Translators are like, no español, no español.
Please, please. And so we have a really, really good laugh with them. But anyway, this is today. I hope you enjoyed some of the, that's only a few of the
many, but yeah, you just gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Church is sometimes crazy. Ministry's crazy, but life is fun. God is good, and you just gotta laugh at yourself and have fun. And if you are a pastor or you're a ministry leader, man, don't sweat the small stuff. literally just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy what you get to do for Jesus. Make a difference in people's lives. Love people. Believe the best about people,
Yeah.
and have fun. Have fun serving God, and it's fun being saved. So
Yeah. And I
I
always
love it.
say, after, if you get a chance to meet with any of your leaders after service, before a pastor goes home, Tommy Barnett used to say, what did he say? I quit. I would never quit on, what did he say? Like about
Yeah, he would.
ministry.
Yeah, he would always want to quit on Monday. Yeah.
So I think he went going on Mondays or something, said he took that as his day off.
Yeah.
But we just say this, like, pull your leaders aside. I have a group chat with leaders, and I've told other pastors this. I'm like, get on a group chat with either your
Yeah.
leaders or your leader wives, with men, get on a group chat with men that you love and trust, and like, hey, what were our wins today? Or did anything crazy happen that, you need to talk through? Or that's not, and there's no negativity on that chat, as far as like, no one is bringing anything like deep, but we're all just like, okay, let's decompress. And like, what did
Yeah.
God do? We always talk to even our kids. We're like, what were the wins today? And we go out to lunch and we're like, what were the wins? So we try not to get things too like, what do we need to fix for next week? No, like, what were the wins? And you
Yeah.
guys, did anything crazy happen?
Yeah.
Or how was it in kids when you were in there, or whatever? Anyone who serves in kids ministry, go to them and ask them what happened in kids ministry, and then you'll have a good laugh, because crazy stuff always happens.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's so true. So
So we
true.
love you guys. So this is our lighthearted. Listen, we've got a couple guests coming in our future ones, and we have more discussions we're going to have. I think the next, I don't know, there's one coming up that I feel tears coming back on, but we're just going to laugh until then. And the joy of the Lord is our strength, right?
Yeah, joy
Right.
of the Lord is our strength. Be blessed today, you guys. Hey, we love you. And again, if you enjoyed this, like it and subscribe, share it, and laugh with us, because life is short and God is good.
Send your stories in too. We want to hear them.
God bless you guys. Have a super day.